What if I told you that your brain is lying to you right now? Not in a malicious way, but in a fundamental, deep-seated, and constant way. It's a liar that has kept our species alive for hundreds of thousands of years. It's the reason we see faces in the clouds, the reason we knock on wood, and the reason we tell stories about ghosts around a campfire. So why do we believe in things that aren't real? It's a question that feels almost insulting. We think of ourselves as rational, logical beings, navigating the world with clear eyes. But the truth is, our brains are fundamentally wired for belief, not for truth. And it all goes back to a very simple, very primal need: survival. Imagine you're one of our ancient ancestors, walking through the tall grass of the savannah. You hear a rustle in the bushes ahead. Now, you have two choices. You can assume it's just the wind, a random, meaningless event. Or, you can assume it's a lion, a hungry predator with intent, an agent acting upon the world. What's the smarter bet? If you assume it's a lion, and you're wrong, you just look a little jumpy for a second. You made what scientists call a type 1 error, a false positive. You believed in something that wasn't there. The cost? A little embarrassment, a slightly faster heartbeat. But if you assume it's the wind, and you're wrong, well, you become lunch. That's a type 2 error, a false negative, and its cost is catastrophic. Think about it. Evolution, over millions of years, would have brutally filtered out any brain that was prone to making that second kind of mistake. What's left is us. We are the descendants of the paranoid, the jumpy, the ones who saw agents and intentions everywhere. This tendency is so fundamental that it has a name: agenticity. It's our built-in, default setting to assume that things, especially things we don't understand, are caused by a conscious agent. A sudden gust of wind that slams a door isn't just air pressure, it feels like something did it. A string of bad luck isn't just statistical probability, it feels like we're cursed. Seeing a face in the static on an old TV, that's not a random assortment of pixels to our brain, it's a face. This is our ancient, overactive lion detector, misfiring in the modern world. It's a creepy, but incredibly effective piece of survival software. It's far, far better to believe in a million non-existent lions than to miss the one real one. Our belief in the unreal, it turns out, is an evolutionary advantage. But okay, that explains why an individual might get spooked by a shadow or see a pattern in their toast. How does that leap from a personal, fleeting feeling to millions of people believing in the same, complex, and elaborate stories for centuries? What turns a rustle in the grass into a pantheon of gods, a complete mythology, or a nationwide ghost story? This is where it gets really fascinating, because while our brains were wired to see agents everywhere, our survival depended on something else: cooperation. A lone human is weak. A group of humans, on the other hand, can take down a mammoth, build a city, and eventually walk on the moon. But how do you get a large group of strangers to cooperate effectively? The truth is, you tell them a story. You can't build a tribe of 1,000 people based on personal relationships alone. There's a limit to how many people we can truly know and trust. But what if you could get all those people to believe in the same set of rules, the same ancestor spirits, the same creation myth, the same God? Suddenly they have a shared identity. They have a reason to trust each other, to work together, to fight and die for each other, even if they've never met. These shared fictions are the most powerful force in human history. Think about it. What is a country? It's not just a patch of land. It's a story we all agree to believe in, complete with a flag, an anthem, and a shared history. What is money? It's just a piece of paper or a number on a screen. It has no inherent value. It only works because billions of us collectively believe it does. Laws, corporations, human rights. These are all incredibly powerful ideas that exist only in our collective imagination. They aren't real in the way a rock or a tree is real, but they shape our world more than any rock ever could. Our ancestors used this same software to build their societies. The shared belief in a powerful sun god wasn't just a bizarre superstition, it was a social technology. It explained the changing seasons, it dictated when to plant crops, and it gave the shaman or priest the authority to organize the group. The story provided a common purpose and a framework for living. Fundamentally, these shared beliefs were the glue that held societies together, allowing them to outcompete groups that couldn't cooperate on such a massive scale. Believing in the same unreal things made us stronger. So we have a brain that's designed to see intention everywhere, and a social need for shared stories to bind us together. But there's a third, deeply personal reason we cling to beliefs that aren't real, and it has to do with fear. What if you woke up tomorrow in a world that you knew, with absolute certainty, was completely random? A world where there's no reason your house was hit by lightning and not your neighbor's. A world where a disease strikes without purpose or meaning. A world where death is just the end. It's a terrifying thought, isn't it? The sheer, chaotic randomness of it all is almost too much for our pattern-seeking brains to handle. This is where belief offers a profound sense of comfort and control. Believing that a higher power has a plan, that things happen for a reason, or that our fate is written in the stars, imposes a sense of order on a chaotic universe. It's a psychological shield against the terror of meaninglessness. Even a belief in something malevolent, like a conspiracy or a curse, can be more comforting than the alternative. Why? Because a conspiracy implies a plan. It implies someone is in charge, that there's a structure to the chaos, even if it's a sinister one. For many, that's less scary than the idea that nobody is at the wheel, and that terrible things just happen. Think about our ancestors trying to make sense of a thunderstorm. The scientific explanation involving atmospheric pressure and electrical discharge was thousands of years away. What's a more satisfying, more manageable explanation? Is it a complex, invisible process you can't possibly understand, or is it an angry god throwing lightning bolts? The angry god story is actually better. It's simpler, it has an agent, and most importantly, it offers the illusion of control. If the god is angry, maybe you can do something to appease him. You can offer a sacrifice, perform a ritual, or promise to be better. Suddenly, you have a measure of agency in a situation that was once terrifyingly random. Our belief in the unreal gives us a narrative to live by and a perceived rudder in the storm of chaos. But in the modern world, this ancient wiring has been supercharged. There's one more piece to this bizarre puzzle, and it happens right inside your own brain chemistry. Have you ever been in an argument, presented with clear, undeniable facts, and just refused to believe them? Why does that happen? It's not because you're stubborn, well, maybe a little, but it's also because your brain is giving you a little reward for sticking to your guns. This is called confirmation bias. Our brains don't like to be wrong. When we encounter information that confirms what we already believe, our brain's reward system releases a little hit of dopamine. It feels good. It feels like we're smart, we're right, we're part of the in-group. Conversely, when we're presented with information that challenges our core beliefs, it can feel like a personal attack. The brain processes this as a threat, similar to the threat of that lion in the grass. So we actively seek out information that makes us feel good, and we instinctively reject or explain away information that makes us feel threatened. And today, we live in a world of infinite information. Whatever weird, bizarre, or creepy thing you want to believe, the internet can provide you with a community of fellow believers and an endless stream of evidence to confirm your bias. It creates a perfect feedback loop, a digital echo chamber that constantly rewards your brain for digging deeper and deeper into a belief, whether it's real or not. So when you ask why people believe in things that aren't real, the answer is both simpler and more complex than you might think. It's not about intelligence or education, it's about evolution. Our brains are fundamentally pattern-matching survival machines that would rather see 100 ghosts that aren't there than miss one predator that is. Our societies are built on a foundation of shared stories, fictions that allow us to cooperate on a scale no other animal can. Our hearts seek comfort and control in a world that often feels random and terrifying, and our neurochemistry rewards us for confirming our beliefs, locking us into our own versions of reality. This wiring is not a bug, it's a feature. It's the very system that allowed our vulnerable ancestors to survive on a hostile planet and eventually build the world we live in today. But in an age of misinformation and digital tribes, that same system can be easily hijacked. The very tools that ensured our survival can now lead us dangerously astray. The question, then, isn't just why we believe in things that aren't real. The real question is, knowing that our minds are built to fool us, what do we do about it? Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the weirdness of the human mind. See you next time.